vegetable pulp.
And
Well, that referee stuff was pretty interesting.
Oh, I was there yesterday. I have never seen a team self-destruct like that. Never. Never seen a game like that in my life.
Did they?
Well, they were killing them in the first half, 21-7. I don't know, look, 5 minutes into the third quarter,
Right.
it's like stupefied. Like absolutely, they scored 4 touchdowns in a row, no response. 52-21. I think we better go. 52-28, but I left, it was 52-21. That's the most, you're right, 45 points in one half. Of course, it was.
Good evening, members of council, staff, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us for our regular meeting of the Town of Pelham Council for Monday, October 1st, 2012. And I note that we are starting half an hour earlier than we normally have over the last number of years. So thank you very much for joining us and taking note of that. Nice to see that all of council took note of that, as did I. So thank you very much, council. Appreciate that, certainly. We are also, that's one of the changes that is under our new procedures, and there will be some other changes specifically in committee later on in the evening after council. But I do note that one of the major minor changes, I guess, is that Regional Councillor Brian Beatty will be giving his report a little bit earlier in the evening, so we look forward to that. Without further ado, I will ask Councillor King to lead us through the invocation and Councillor Papp through the singing of the national anthem, and I would ask all to rise.
Lord, we give thanks for the town of Pelham as we meet to deliberate the matters of business on behalf of all people. Direct the members of Pelham Council through the paths of many decisions placed before them. May each council member show strength, wisdom, courage, and honor as they strive for goodwill in all their considerations. Amen.
Amen.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patron of in all thy Son's command, with glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you very much, councillors, ladies and gentlemen. It has been moved by Councillor Durley, seconded by Councillor King, that the agenda for the October 1st, 2012 regular meeting of council be adopted. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda? There being none, I call the question. All those in favor? None opposed, motion carried. The next item is disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. Do any members of council have any pecuniary interest that they'd like to declare at this time? Can that be noted in the minutes, please? Now we move to presentations and delegations, and we have one presentation, and it's by Jennifer McGuire, representing the United Way and the 2012 United Way campaign.
I just have to start this, but I can't. I don't know how to get this to full screen.
Just go to slideshow at the top.
Oh, there it is? Yeah.
And from beginning. There you go.
Perfect.
Thank you all. Good evening.
So good evening, Mayor, Council, and members of the public. My name is Jennifer McGuire, and I'm an employee from the United Way of South Niagara. To begin, I'm going to name a few situations that affect everyone in our community. This may happen to your best friend, your neighbor, or member of your family. Your child is in need of a supportive mentor and role in their life. You're a single parent trying to get out of poverty, or your child is having trouble learning in school and needs some assistance blending in socially. These are all examples of United Way funded programs. The list goes on and actually includes 26 programs funded over 17 agencies in our community. These programs that help thousands annually are supported by you and your colleagues and other community members that believe that by supporting local initiatives and programs, our community can grow together. In South Niagara, United Way helps thousands of residents, and the following are some specific examples of how agencies have been put to use right here in Pelham. So the Family Counseling Center saw 18 cases in Pelham with 6 visits each, so by just Pelham residents. The Hope Center provided assistance to 19 families with heat and hydro issues, housing issues, and even one situation where food was delivered right to Pelham. Also, 10 people stayed at the Hope House from Pelham. 54 Pelham residences used the Women's Place of South Niagara, which helps women and children experiencing abuse, and 37 Pelham residents requested for services by the Niagara Regional Sexual Assault Center. Throughout any community in South Niagara, individuals face significant issues of poverty and disability. Whether young or old, individuals within our community need our assistance to meet a variety of needs, and United Way seeks to provide critical support to organizations we have come to rely on. United Way focuses on 3 main areas where they prioritize their funding: kids, poverty, and empowering people and communities. United Way allows individuals from the community to experience how the money is raised and how it is distributed to social agencies in our community. Our community investment panel works with the agencies in ensuring their program is sustainable and fitting to the need in our community. Our volunteers are what make United Way so strong and able to grow in the community itself. 2 weeks ago, the United Way of South Niagara announced their 2012 campaign goal of $160,000, and it's through the workplaces and community members such as yourselves that the United Way is able to make lasting change in our community. When you give to the United Way, you're giving to members in your community, and the money is staying locally. We can make change in our community by working together and by engaging everyone. Change can start here, and with community members like yourself, believing that United Way can make a difference where you live. Change starts when people access the resources that are made available by the United Way and want to improve their lives. I really appreciate you having me and listening to all I had to say, and I would be more than pleased to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Thank you very much, Ms. McGuire, for your presentation and for the slideshow that accompanied it, and also for giving us some statistics about the use of the United Way agencies from Pelham. I wonder if members of council have any questions for our presenter at this time?
I just have a
Or
comment.
comments?
After.
Councillor Papp has a comment. One of the 3 amigos,
Yeah,
Councillor.
I was going to say that, but that's your job.
Well, thank you so much, Jennifer, for coming here and giving us a very quick but very concise overview of our campaign. As a former staff member, now a committed volunteer to United Way, I've been involved in United Way for over 3 decades. And during that time, I think everyone has some way or somehow been affected by the agencies and the way in which they've helped those most in need. Tonight, you heard that Pelham is not untouched. We have many, many people here, hopefully not many, but those that need help receive the help. And in fact, this is a time and effort for us as a counselor, as a staff, to step up and help, not just with money, but our knowledge and experience. Last year, the town of Pelham actually went up almost close to 50-60% in contributions. That was phenomenal. And thanks to the mayor and members of council, the staff. This year, prior to me just leaving, there was a decision made amongst 3 mutual friends, and we call ourselves the 3 Amigos, myself, Rick Lowe's, and Terry Duffy. It's ironic, it's not ironic, but it's a fact that all 3 of us are from Pelham, and we decided for the first time in the history of the United Way of South Niagara to put our money where our mouth is, and also to inspire and ensure that people understand why we're doing this, to help those most in need. So as a result, we, the 3 Amigos, have put out what they call a leadership gift challenge of $15,000. We trust that all of you will consider, and this is for those who wish to give at $1,000 per year or up, and we're throwing the gauntlet down and saying to you, we're prepared to match those, each and every single gift up to that amount, and we're suggesting that hopefully many of you step forward. As since we announced this, it's not a secret that there have been 4 new leadership gifts of $1,000. What's significant about these is these 4 people who gave to us just recently have never given to the United Way. We hope that you will take the words that have been brought here by Jennifer and the members of the board and all of the volunteers in United Way and help us meet the challenge this year and for ongoing years. And I thank you for your indulgence, Mr. Mayor, for letting us talk. And hopefully you'll see more of us as we walk around, gently twisting your arm, or more importantly, convincing you by the stories that you hear and you see here, and how what you heard tonight is how it does affect the Pelham. And we thank you, and hopefully you will step forward. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Papp. I appreciate certainly your comments this evening and also your leadership on this. And I note that Ms. McGuire has given the clerk a package of forms that we can fill out, and I've asked her to distribute that to each of us on council, and also no doubt give them to the CAO to distribute to staff as staff see fit for their campaign. So we look forward to hearing about the results, and if there's any activities that council and staff want to make on the United Way, that's forthcoming. But certainly this is the beginning of the campaign here in the town, and we appreciate your presentation this evening, and we look forward to wonderful things.
Yes,
thank you very much.
Very much for having me.
Thank you, Ms. McGuire.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next on the agenda is our report from Regional Councillor Brian Beatty. Thank you for joining us, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council and staff. This is in our 3-week cycle of fairly prompt report, and that this is the material from last week's standing committees that will be the subject of the meeting this Thursday at Regional Council. For corporate services, received presentations on the various preliminary budget presentations. First of all, the corporate administration, that being the chair and council, the chief administrative officer, the responsive region improvement team, the economic development and corporate services department. That's a pre-2013 budget review. Basically giving us a state of the world of where we are, what the new pressures are going to be, what some of the areas of interest are, without dollar figures. That will come at a later budget meeting. Received a presentation demonstrating the interactive capital planning using GIS technology, and approved the initiation of financing for Public Works 2012 capital projects slightly in excess of $6 million. We received a report on the Niagara Region Feed and Tariff Solar Program. This is a preliminary report looking at possible areas in the region where regional property could be used for those kinds of installations. Authorized the issuance of debentures through Infrastructure Ontario for Niagara Regional Housing in the amounts of $4.5 million for the Broad Oak redevelopment project in Niagara Falls, and just shy of $2 million for the Fitch Street development in Welland. And finally, approved a change in the payment schedule for Niagara Regional Council payroll to bi-weekly from the current monthly schedule, but that will not become effective until the next term of council. For Integrated Community Planning Committee, received presentations in a public meeting prior to the committee regarding proposed Regional Policy Plan Amendment, RPPA 196, that being the Northwest Niagara Falls urban boundary expansion. You'll know it where Club Italia is, that area. I think there's a hotel in that area, 10 trailer park, etc. And next, approved an application for tourism exemption for holiday openings from the Zara's Market on Morrison Street in Niagara Falls. And received a presentation and then approved environmental impact study guidelines. And I should note that significant work has been done to try and minimize the process for developers and to make more common practice and so on as part of the open for business concept. And it's a great, in my view, a great step forward in terms of smoothing out some of the restrictions that developers face in terms of moving their projects forward. Received a presentation providing an overview of the Integrated Community Planning pre-2013 budget overview, and I've received and approved for distribution the Smart Niagara incentive programs. Those are the grants to local municipalities. You may be aware that we've recently gone through quite a review of those grants, looked at various areas for improvement, and so that material will be coming to you in due course for your consideration. Approved a housekeeping amendment to the Regional Policy Plan, RPPA 2-2012. That's dealing with the Niagara Gateway, and it just meant some word changing. We put out the policy, but put it out to local councils for review, and there were some minor housekeeping word changes that were required for that program. Approved a report outlining the mutual assistance agreement partnership that exists between the region and the 12 local municipalities. And finally, received a presentation and approved the new Pelham official plan. To some applause in some corners. I'll Public Health and Social Services Committee received presentations on the Public Health, Community Services, and the Niagara Regional Housing pre-2013 budget overviews, and received the Niagara EMS accommodation study. Directed staff to work with Model D and report back to Community Council. Basically, Model D suggests that we have one central area, which we do now, down by Foster Wheeler. It may be there or in Thorold, for the larger number of ambulances and vehicles to report to, but to have pods located throughout the region. Currently, there's several of our vehicles that are not housed inside, and it's causing concern in terms of, so there's need for, I believe it's 11 structures over the course of time, and that's already been pre-approved or pre-acknowledged in the 10-year budget forecast. Finally, the Public Works Committee received a presentation on the pre-2013 budget overview, authorized a report authorizing a combined sewer overflow cost-sharing program with the City of Thorold up to $50,000, and approved a speed limit reduction on a section of Regional Road 20, that's Lundy's Lane in Niagara Falls, from 80 to 60 kilometers. Approved a Phase 2 contract for road and bridge construction on Regional Road 81 between 9th and 7th Street in the City of St. Catharines and the Town of Lincoln in excess of $5 million. And lastly, awarded a contract for Part 2 of the Strengthening and Resurfacing Program for regional roads at slightly over $2 million. Again, Regional Council is this Thursday, October the 4th. We will be receiving a presentation updating the Culture Capital Canada activities, one of which, of course, occurred here during Summerfest, and another one to come shortly this fall. We'll receive a presentation from the Citizens Review Committee on Council remuneration. So Council is at 6:30 on October 4th in open session, and a closed session will follow. My report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Beatty, for your report, and I'm just going to comment on the approval of the Pelham new official plan. Mr. Lermer was very jubilant as he went down to the podium to speak about it, and it's actually one of the first times when we've dealt with an official plan at the region that it went by without a hitch. There weren't many questions at all, keen support on that, and I think that's because of certainly staff here working together with the regional staff and working in harmony together on a very tight timeline. So in other situations, it's taken upwards of 2 years, 2.5 years to approve official plans, but the region really put a push on and approved it within, I think, 120 days, was it not? So Mr. Larmer's comments were simply carry on, great work, and he brought those thanks on to regional staff and regional committee. And Councillor Beatty, of course, was involved in that as well, approved it without further ado, just a couple of quick questions and approved. So we look forward to it going to Regional Council this Thursday. Councillor Beatty, I don't know if you want to, you did speak about it actually at committee, and you talked about the vision that we have for our community and bringing that vision here from Town Council. So we look forward to that document being approved.
Mr. Mayor, one of the comments that he did make, and it's simply the provincial policy, is that, as you're aware, the new densities are much, much higher than we recognize in Fenwick or Font Hill, and that we need to incorporate, where possible, paths, trailways, greening initiatives to try and make a buffer between what was and what's going to be. I think everyone at the Pelham Business Association, when this was first discussed, was rather shocked at the figure of 12. I believe it's Fenwick North Pelham has a density of 3 housing units per hectare. Font Hill in area 4 because of the number of farming areas we have, but the new density requirements under places to grow is 12. So it's quite a change from the early. However, that being said, it can lead to, of course, better use of the infrastructure, okay, improving cost efficiencies in terms of the town, and we would hope more affordable housing for the future residents of Pelham.
Thank you, and you made that point, so thank you for making it again. And of course, in this as well as the East Font Hill Secondary Plan approval incumbent in the official plan. So we look forward to that approval on Thursday. Better knock on wood here. I wonder if any members of council have any questions for Councillor Beatty's comprehensive report. Councillor Pat?
Thank you, Councillor Beatty. I was just curious, with respect to, you brought forward the last time the issue of the $5 million cut to the homelessness funding.
Yes.
And just wondered if there's any progress on how that's going to be addressed during the 2013 budget deliberations.
I asked that at committee, and the chair's office is currently trying to arrange meetings with the MPPs to discuss it. It's a case where I don't think anyone other than people who are close to social services knows what this impact is going to be. For the homeless people in Niagara, it's an 88% cut from what the budget was in former years. So we're talking about people who up until now have been able to have if their electricity bill has gone over and they need to get the lights back on, or their gas is out and need to get that reconnected for heat. Those funds are going to be very, very small in number in comparison because of the 88% cut. For a number of people looking for affordable housing, there's always the demand for rent to have a first month, last month, and in many cases that fund was used to top them up to be able to get them into some housing out of the shelters. The shelters and the various support agencies are going to be very, very hard hit starting on January 1st on this issue. So we're hoping to begin with the work with the MPPs. We're doing some work around the province to try and determine what other communities are doing. I would not be surprised if some communities are looking at basically a downloading, going to the local taxpayer to cover some of the costs that have been taken away by the province. It was part of the budgetary process, but like so many things in a large budget, you don't notice them until somebody points out, oh, by the way, your poor people are going to really suffer because of this cut.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you
I
very
did hear today that the province has acknowledged an error in the calculation, and it's something like another $1 million that they're going to be giving. So it doesn't make up the $5 million difference, but that it narrows the gap slightly. So we'll look forward to receiving an update at Regional Council. It is cause for concern, so thank you for raising it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for Councillor Beatty? Following our Regional Council meeting this Thursday, we're going to start into the budget process. So I'll note for all members of the community that the region's budget process will begin on October 11th, and we'll be looking at rates and how rates are calculated, et cetera, and then again on October 18th. So we're getting into the budget cycle at the region as well, and look forward to that. And we'll have additional information, Councillor Papp, on that issue as it comes forward and we work our way through the budget.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Beatty.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Councillor, for moving up the time of my presentation because I'm going to be able to go to a social event with my wife that I wouldn't otherwise have been able to go to at 7 o'clock.
Enjoy. Thank you, Councillor. Appreciate your update. The next item is adoption of minutes. We have two sets of minutes, and it has been moved by Councillor King, second by Councillor Durley, that the minutes of the following council meetings be adopted as printed, circulated, and read. 1, regular council, September 17th, 2012, and 2, special council, September 24th, 2012. Any errors or omissions in those minutes? There being none, I call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. The next item is consent agenda items to be considered in block. And I wonder if members would like to lift any of those items for separate consideration before we consider them together. Okay, thank you. It has been moved by Councillor Ribbiak, second by Councillor King, that the following consent agenda items be received and approved. 10.1, minutes of General Committee meeting September 17th, 2012, and recommendation sheet, which included consent agenda item 1, Community and Infrastructure Services 1, and Planning 1. 10.2, information correspondence items received to September 26th. We have 3 items, one from the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Sport, another from the provincial policy regarding the provincial policy statement review, and that's from the municipal affairs, and the third from the Regional Municipality of Niagara regarding the Niagara Escarpment Commission study crossing. 10.3 are the minutes of the General Committee meeting of September 24th, 2012, which was a public hearing under the Planning Act, and 10.4 minutes of Municipal Heritage Committee, June 21st, 2012. Any councillors like to discuss any of those items? There's one item I'd like to just raise, and thinking about the 10.3, the public hearings under the Planning Act. Under our new cycle of meetings, in this case, this item which we've directed to go to Committee of the Whole, this was on September 24th, so it's not coming, it won't be coming on October 15th, it'll be coming November 5th, because we directed that it go to Committee of the Whole. So maybe it's something that we can discuss at priorities and planning with a couple of kind of calendars, but that means that any item that we would have a public meeting on the 4th Monday of the month, staff probably wouldn't get the report ready for this week. This was last week, so they wouldn't get it ready for this week. and then they have to wait an entire month before it goes to committee of the whole, so. I raise it here, I wonder if staff could also say, you know what, on some of these, there might be some routine planning, maybe could just go straight to committee, or sorry, straight to council and not go to committee, and that would save things. So, Mr. Lormer, do you understand what I'm trying to
Yeah, I
discuss?
I mean, there are a couple of applications that we deal with that can be addressed immediately following a public meeting. Usually when it's a condition of a consent approval or otherwise just a straightforward application, maybe agricultural purposes only. So inside of the week, we could turn around and get them to the first meeting of the month. But more likely, it takes a couple of weeks to get the report done anyway, so waiting the 5 weeks wouldn't necessarily be a large issue. Other than if there's a follow-up, then it's 2 months. So
Right.
it's probably something that would be
Okay,
that'd probably be the perfect time.
and the other could be that it could go straight to council as well, Mr. Lormer?
That would be council's direction, but yes, I would think that it could go straight to council meeting.
Okay, thank you for answering that question. So we'll, maybe as we move forward in the coming months and look at applications, we can kind of judge and see. But the recommendations, if they are straightforward, as the planner indicated, maybe those are ones that can go straight to this committee and then be approved at council. Thank you very much. Anything further on any of those items? Going to call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? None. That motion is carried. Thank you. The next item is presentation consideration of correspondence requiring action. It has been moved by Councillor Papp, seconded by Councillor Kersey, that action communication item 1, agenda item 12.1, being a letter from the Pelham Platform Tennis Club requesting the town to install a sign on Hay Street near the arena entrance to recognize the existence of the Platform Tennis Club be received and referred to staff for inclusion in the 2013 budget and to direct staff to work with the Pelham Tennis Club to install the sign. Comments or questions on this? There being none, I call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? None. Motion carried. So we look forward to that occurring. The next item is presentation consideration of reports. 3 of us have reports, and I'll begin with mine. I have 3 quick reports for members of council. The first was a very wonderful celebration, and it was to celebrate the 100th birthday of Brown Irvine. Doc Brown, as he was affectionately called, enjoys, as he said, a long life, good genes, and a healthy lifestyle, and a little bit of luck to get to his 100 years. I was amazed and impressed that he uses the elliptical machine at Short Hills Villa on a regular basis to stay in shape, and he is just a wonderful, wonderful individual, and he is a real gentleman. He grew up in Holston, Ontario, graduated from high school in 1928, went to attend Queen's University and later attended the College of Osteopathy and Surgery, graduating in 1942. He was happily married to his wife Marie for many years and enjoyed working as a physician and raising 4 children in Cambridge. He retired in 1990 and moved to Pelham to be closer to his children, and he's been living at Short Hills Villa for a number of years. So congratulations, Doc Brown, and we wish you all the best in many, many more years to come. And it was my pleasure to, on behalf of council, present a certificate, a framed certificate for Mr. Irvine. Congratulations. The next item is another an anniversary, a little bit less, and this is to celebrate Lookout Point Country Club and their 90th anniversary. This was held on September 22nd, and I was very pleased that Councillor Papp could join me that day, along with the president, the chair of the Chamber of Commerce, Vern Milo, and Rich at Lookout in golfing. We have a picture here of us holding a trophy, and I think it's going to be the closest we ever get to a trophy. We were just holding it. We didn't win it, for clarity. I think Councillor Papp there has a photo of that. But it was a wonderful a golf day, and it was followed up by a great gala event. 2 highlights from the event. The first is that they presented a special Jack Spittle Memorial Bursary to Lauren Wardrope. And she gave a wonderful, wonderful acceptance speech on that evening about how this bursary will help her and the program that she provides at Lookout for junior golfers. And the second was a presentation of Pelham Cares. They did a silent auction that evening as well, and donated $5,000 to Pelham Cares that evening. So it was a wonderful, wonderful evening and a wonderful way to celebrate a great golf course and great feature in our community. Congratulations to Lookout. The final is I was also able to celebrate with the Final Platform Tennis Club their 40th anniversary. That occurred on September 23rd, and we celebrated with 100 current and past members, including some of the founding members. I was interested to note some of the history of the club, that it began 40 years ago at the corner of Regional Road 20 and Center Street with an old farmhouse and the club, and then it was moved to the arena property in 1989. And really, it's a unique relationship that the club exists on that arena property there, and it would look beautiful. They recently fixed it up, and it was beautiful inside and outside as well. It's also a unique outdoor sport. I'm told, because I haven't tried it, I don't know if anybody on council's tried it or in the community, but it's more active than, or aerobic than tennis, and slightly less than squash, so somewhere in between. But one plays it all winter long, and even the club president plays in shorts, and he's known for playing in his shorts all winter long. So congratulations to the Platform Tennis Club to celebrate your 40th anniversary. May you have many more years. The next reports are from Councillor Kersey. Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The first report I'd like to bring is the report from the Pelham Business Association annual meeting that was held last Tuesday at Zest. Very well attended. Council was well represented there by yourself, Mr. Mayor, my colleague Councillor Papp, and myself. Numerous reports were presented, the highlights of which were the financial report, which showed the PBA on good, solid financial footings. Looking forward to contribute to the beautification of our town in some way. They have that money still set aside and earmarked, and are working on some ideas to bring forward to council. Another interesting aspect of the meeting was that an announcement that the PBA has now exceeded 100 members and are growing actually rather rapidly in the last several months. Also, the new PBA website was unveiled, and this PBA website now is very interactive, so members can actually go onto the website and update their material that they're displaying on the website, highlighting their businesses, the types of services they provide, if they have any specials, etc. So it's a very interactive website, and the membership there were very excited to see it in action. In addition, the PBA held their election of their new board, and 12 individuals have agreed to serve on the new board of directors. With your indulgence, Mr. Mayor, the new president will be Tim McAvoy. Vice President and Director of Community Affairs, Tom McIntyre. Secretary, Melissa Wells. Treasurer, Barb Christopher. Director of Marketing, Brian Caparici. Membership Director, Sue Telecki. Program Director, Patty Fagan. I will continue with the Council's indulgence as the Council liaison. And Directors at Large, Fiona O'Hara, Debbie McIntyre, Candy Ashby, and Deborah Marie Forrester. PBA representatives on various committees that the town has operating, Todd Barber and John Langadoon on the Pelham Beautification Committee. Todd also serves on the Pelham Summerfest Committee. Kathy Burkow-Bossy will be serving on the new Christmas in Pelham and Marketing Committee, and Gail Balchis-Chataway also serves on the Christmas in Pelham and the Community Affairs Committee. The PBA continues to represent a very strong voice for the business community in Pelham, and also in supporting initiatives which give back to our citizens in our town. I look forward to another year of working with the PBA, and congratulations on behalf of council to the new executive.
Thank you very much, Councillor.
Thank you. My second report, Mr. Mayor, is a very brief report surrounding Summerfest and some issues that need to be brought to council's attention. The Summerfest committee picked up their work right after the summer break and began to compile their report, and have been working diligently on that. We expect to present a final report at our October 15th meeting. And we are attempting to encase within the report a summary of all the metrics that we were able to gather and have used to assess the success or failures of Summerfest. And we're also, as part of our report, we'll be commenting on the economic impact of this event. As part of the report that we plan to bring, we also plan to bring a summary report with respect to the arches that were created specifically as part of Summerfest. And it's with respect to this issue that I thought that I should bring forward at least some commentary on the subject to draw attention of council to a problem which must be dealt with. As you may recall, when council initially dealt with the arches back in, I guess it was late May, early June, a motion was put forward which allowed the arches to stay in place until the end of September for evaluation and feedback from the community. Part and parcel with that decision, a bylaw was enacted which limited truck traffic in this area. And this bylaw is also about to expire. Summerfest committee would like to suggest to council that it be allowed to bring forward its final report prior to council making a final decision with respect to the ultimate disposition of these arches. If a council is agreeable to this, an amendment to this bylaw is needed to extend the limitation on truck traffic to October 31st, 2012. This will allow time to receive and consider the report at our October 15th meeting. And if council decides to have the arches removed, this extension will give time to mobilize a crew to remove and relocate the arches. If council determines to leave them in place, we can then proceed to finish and winterize them in a timely manner. Information on this will be provided within our report. If it is determined to leave the arches, then a further amendment to the bylaw limiting truck traffic will also be necessary prior to the October 31st date. Because of those issues, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to put forward a motion that council postpone any decision with respect to the Summerfest arches until the final report from the Summerfest committee is received on October 15, 2012, and that bylaw 3274, a bylaw limiting truck traffic on Pelham Town Square, be amended to extend the period of limitation to October 31st, 2012.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kersey. I see that Councillor Papp has seconded that motion.
Correct.
Any questions to the motion? Certainly laid it out very well, Councillor, and we appreciate that. We look forward to the report from Summerfest and hearing the feedback from residents about the arches. So thank you very much for your comprehensive report. I'm going to call the question on the motion that you presented, Councillor. All those in favor? Any opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you very much, Councillor, for your work on the PBA and on the Summerfest committee as well. Thank you. We look forward to that. Councillor Ribbiak, you have a report as well.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's my pleasure to bring you a report with regard to activities of the Communities in Bloom Committee of September 26th, last Wednesday, when I, along with yourself and Councillor Gurley, had the pleasure of participating in the presentation of Trillium Awards to members of the community who were being recognized for the gardens that they have kept and shown with great pride on behalf of the town. This year the judges were Karen Vermeer and Deborah Bastian from the Town of Pelham Parks and Recreation Department. Winners were selected from over 25 entries within the Town of Pelham. And there were 9 categories. And with your indulgence, Mr. Mayor, I'll just run through the names of the winners who can't receive enough recognition, in my opinion. So if you, with your indulgence, I'll go ahead and mention those. In the category of the small residential, winners were, in first place, Mark Palsco of 759 Canberra Road in Fenwick. Second place went to Jackie and Henry Van der Veen of 27 Market Court in Fenwick, and an honorable mention to Jackie and Herman Haiku of 114th Wellman Road of Fonthill. In the large residential category, first place went to Peter and Greta Hildebrand of 153 Merritt Road of Fonthill. The second place going to Betty and James Fowler of 656 Memorial Drive in Fenwick. In the small professionally landscaped residential, first place went to Leah Jansen of 11 Martha Court in Fenwick, and second place to Trevor and Jolie Capra of 1607 Lookout Street in Ridgeville, with an honorable mention going to Mr. Hayden and Mrs. Beverly Davis of 12 Short Hill Place in Fonthill. The category of residential large professionally landscaped, first place went to Leonard Pupo of 10 Pickwick Place, Fonthill. Commercial properties that were recognized, first place went to Pedler Funeral Home of 1293 Pelham Street, Fonthill. Second place to J&J Floral Expressions, 1428 Pelham Street in Fonthill, with an honorable mention going to the Lazy Loon Restaurant at 155 Highway 20, Fonthill. The multiple residential category, first place, Town Square Manor, 55 Pelham Town Square, Fonthill. Second place to 42 Concord Street, Fonthill, with an honorable mention going to Chris Marvin of 1519 Pelham Street, Unit 2, Fonthill. We have a category for Best Balcony, with first place going to Pamela Young of 44 Pelham Town Square of Fonthill. Among schools, churches, and institutions, first place went to the Jehovah Witness Kingdom Hall of 1369 Rice Road in Fonthill. And there was a category, Most Improved Residential or Commercial, with first place going to the Balfour Animal Hospital of 701 Canberra Road, Fenwick, with second place going to the Stormhair Group, 21 Highway 20, Fonthill. So on behalf of all of us, I certainly want to express congratulations to those keepers of wonderful gardens that make town of Pelham the great place that it is. I have a further comment to make with respect to Communities in Bloom, and this is with respect to our semi-annual activity, much looked forward to by residents across Pelham, the Community Participation Day. And this autumn, Pelham students, businesses, and residents, Pelham Communities in Bloom invites them all to make our community litter-free this fall. Let's join hands and show our community pride. The Corporate Challenge Day will be on October 18th, 2012, for local businesses. It will help keep Pelham beautiful. I think the Pelham Business Association received the information from us, and I think indicated that they would spread the word within their organization, so we're looking for a great deal of participation this year from Pelham businesses. They may, of course, register their business or organization by looking at the website www.pelham.ca. The Student Participation Day will be on October 19th, 2012. Students and teachers can help do their part in cleaning up the schoolyard and the street. And they may register, of course, at www.pelham.ca. And, of course, the day that we all look forward to, Community Cleanup Day, which all residents can gather at Centennial Park, where among other things, the fabulous Fenwick Lions will feed us. That will be on October 20th, 2012, Saturday, October 20th, 2012. And people may register again, of course, at www.pelham.ca, or just come to the Centennial Park. We'd be happy to see anyone there. The cleanup is in the morning from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. with that barbecue lunch following cleanup from 12 to 12:30 p.m. So looking forward to seeing many residents there, as we always do, and looking forward to the tremendous effect that they have on our wonderful town. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's my report.
Thank you very much, Councillor Ribiak, for your comprehensive report and for outlining the winners of the Trillium Awards, and to yourself and the members of the Communities in Bloom for your work. We look forward to the Community Cleanup Days. It is, as you said, a way to get the community together, but also to clean up our community. So thank you very much for that. And thank you all for your reports. Next, we have presentation consideration of bylaws. It has been moved by Councillor Kersey, second by Councillor Papp, that leave now be given to introduce the following bylaws and dispense with the reading of the bylaw. Number 1, being a bylaw to adopt a heritage master plan, and 2, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 3274, being a bylaw to temporarily restrict heavy trucks along a portion of Pelham Town Square. Any discussion on any of those items? Certainly we appreciate the presentation last meeting by Mr. Bray regarding the Heritage Master Plan and the work of the members of the committee, including Councillor Durley on the Heritage Committee. And I think those members are also outlined in Mr. Lorimer's report in committee, so thank you to that. Going to call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? None. That motion is carried. It's been moved by Councillor Kersey, second by Councillor Papp, that the following bylaws have been considered first time be numbered as follows. Bylaw 3,300 and 3,301 be now considered a second and third time and passed, and the mayor and clerk do sign and seal the same, any rule of council to the contrary notwithstanding. All those in favor? Any opposed? None. Motion carried. We don't have any notices of motions or matters from Committee of the Whole or Policy and Priorities Committee. We do now, according to the new procedures, we will now move into closed session. That's a bit of a change from what we're used to in previous times. It's normally been done in committee, so this will mean that we'll have to make this motion and then move into closed session and ask folks that are here to leave the meeting room for a brief period and then come back when we come back into open session. So it has been moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor King. Be it resolved that the next portion of the meeting be closed to the public in order to consider the following matters under the Municipal Act 2001 as outlined below. 1. In-camera consideration of an item under the Municipal Act, Section 239(2)C, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board, one item. Comments or questions? There being none, I call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. So again, we would ask that members of the public would vacate the chamber momentarily.